When you look at your foe, do not see another elf. See them for what they are, creatures less than animals. Remember that your enemy is responsible for all of your woes. It is he that cast you from your homes, tortured your friends, and slaughtered your families. You can have no compassion for those you will slay, for it will be rewarded by failure. Hesitation is death, doubt is weakness. The Drukai tore your lives from you, and drew them upon sacrificial pyres, anointing their priests with the blood of your kin. The ghosts of the fallen wander Marai, wailing in grief for the wrongs done to them, pleading with the living to avenge them.
Anarian's court, following his marriage to Marathi, became a place of simmering evil, and it is here that the cult of excess festered in the reign of Belshazzar. When the Nagaraithi threw their lot in with Malekith, it was from these decadent and perverse nobles that he drew most of his power. They were veterans of the wars against the demons of chaos, and many powerful sorcerers filled their ranks. Not all the Nagaraithi joined Malekith's rebellion against the true Phoenix King, however. Many high elves had been appalled by the depravity ushered in the period of Marathi, and further sickened by Malekith's betrayal. These brave souls were the first to bear the brunt of the Witch King's assault, and their homes and their lives were quickly destroyed. The greatest hero of Nagaraith was Alith Anar, the Shadow King. A son of one of Nagaraith's noblest households, his family immediately joined the fight to protect the true Phoenix King, and many loyal Nagaraithi rallied to join him. At the Battle of Dark Fen, the loyal Nagaraithi stood before the mighty hosts of the Dark Elves. One of the first battles of Malekith's rebellion, the loyal elves were outnumbered 3-1, and their foe were battle-hardened and cruel. Eothlir, Alith Anar's father, was an expert tactician, and the archer and spear regiments who fought for him outmaneuvered the Dark Elves for long hours. Hundreds of Dark Elves died crossing the fen, black-fletched arrows claiming their lives before the battle lines met. Crazed Dark Elf warriors tore into Eothlir's regiments, but even then it seemed the loyal elves could prevail. With his house at his side, Eothlir held firm. The proud banner of the Anars fluttered, just for a moment longer, before it was crushed beneath the immense bulk of the Dark Elf general's black dragon. As Eothlir was savaged by the mighty beast, a ripple of panic spread through the elf army. As he fell to the ground, blood bubbling between his lips, Eothlir cried a warning to his son, Alith. "Flee," he said. Few of Alith Anar's folk survived that battle, and they were harried through the fens and marshes for long weeks, until the Dark Elves grew tired of the search. When at last they came out of hiding, Alith Anar and his companions found their ancestral home a ruin, and scores of the elderly and innocent lying dead. There he learned that his grandfather, Eloran, had been taken to the dungeons of Anlek. He was never seen again. Alith Anar and his warriors swore terrible oaths of vengeance that day. They launched brutal ambushes on the armies of Malekith, butchering messengers, destroying supply chains, and disrupting the flow of reinforcements. They joined many of the mightiest battles of the age, and it is said that Caelador the Conqueror thanked Alith Anar in person following the second battle of the Illyrian Plains. There, the Dark Elf army boasted scores of Reaper bolt throwers, and the carnage they wrought upon the High Elves would be terrible. As the Witch King's army advanced, however, the Reapers fell silent one after another, Alith Anar and his loyal warriors emerging from hiding to overrun their crews. The fighting was brief and one-sided, the Shadow Warriors leaving the delicate war machines in ruins. When the Witch King and his mother Morathi fled Ulthuan to the west, the remaining few nobles of Nagarath turned to Alith Anar to lead them. In the shattered groves beneath Dragon Pass, they swore a pact of obedience to Alith Anar. Their land had been ruined, flooded by the madness of the Sundering, and their reputation was in tatters. The elves of the other lands now viewed them as tainted, of course. Pariahs, barely better than the dark elves they had fought against so courageously. That night, each elf from Nagarath's great families took an oath of blood that they could not rest until they had destroyed Malekith and all of his followers. They became the Shadow Warriors, and Alith Anar was their lord, the Shadow King. In the wake of the Sundering, there were many dark elves still hiding in Ulthuan, and the Shadow Warriors busied themselves rooting out these remnants of evil. This was a task that Alith Anar and his warriors undertook with a vengeance, and soon there were few of the Dark Elf Reavers who did not know and fear his name. Each time his warriors slaughtered a Dark Elf encampment, his notoriety grew. None were ever spared. Those that survived the fighting and were foolish enough to surrender or flee were captured and then massacred as a sign of the Shadow King's passing. After the Battle of Griffin Pass, Alith Anar captured 700 Dark Elves and had them nailed high upon the white cliffs overlooking the narrow valley, where they hung until they died, and then their corpses hung for years afterwards, until their flesh rotted, their bones tumbling into piles beside the road. Such is the dark power of the place that these bones can be seen to this day, together with the red marks left by Alith Anar's iron nails upon the cliffs. Later, Alith Anar led his followers against the newly raised fortress of Nagaroth. In the bleak lands of the northern New World, the Shadow Warriors became a serious thorn in the Witch King's side, harassing his ships, ambushing his warriors, and plundering his convoys. There was nothing the Shadow Warriors would not dare. It was said that Alith Anar once danced in disguise with Morathi at the court of the Witch King, before stealing the Stone of Midnight from her treasury. He then outwitted the witch elves sent to hunt him down, tricking them into drinking poison mixed with blood before escaping into the wilderness. As to the final fate of Alith Anar, none can say. His heirs have ruled the wandering folk of Nagarath ever since, though none has taken the title of the Shadow King, which remains his alone. They are the Aes Anar, the sons of Anar, and even the Phoenix King has never knowingly met or spoken to them. These grim scions of the Shadow King still fight their eternal war against the Witch King and his followers, true to the oaths that their ancestors swore thousands of years ago. Around the campfires of the Shadow Warriors, the true sons and daughters of Nagarath still speak of Alith Anar as a living warrior, an elf of the shadows, a mortal spirit of vengeance, bound to walk the earth until the Witch King is laid to rest.
Do not long for peace, for there can be none while any Drukai still draw breath. Embrace war as the crucible of your valediction, the means to purge this stain upon our people. Swear oaths of vengeance, not to me, or to your companions, or to the uncaring gods, but to fallen mothers and fathers, dead sisters and brothers, slain sons and daughters. Take the darkness that the Drukai have created, and rob them of its power. You are the blade that will strike down the wicked. You are the Shadow Warrior, the faceless bringer of justice.